Hello and welcome back to Team Fortress 2 with Bobson, playing a bit of Landfall today on my soldier because I've got a black box contract and I need to get that done. So let's see, what do I want to talk about this week while I am running around shooting my massive black box, festive black box at that, strange festive kill streak black box at that. So what do I want to talk about this week? Let's see, channel update, same as last week. More Terraria, more Don't Starve. I am actually playing more Don't Starve, more Banished, and yeah. Last week I started a new Let's Play of Don't Starve with Walani, one of the new characters that was added with the Shipwrecked DLC. So yeah, if you missed that, go check that out. Terraria, last week I finally got the Ankh Charm set up, built, and put together. Got all the pieces, all 9 pieces, and got that done. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but hopefully it's something interesting. Maybe take on the Skeletron Prime or something. I don't know. And more Banished, I'm still setting up Crapton. The city of Crapton is still being built, and it is still going strong, and no one has, well, a lot of people have died. A lot of people have died, but hopefully not too many more die. So, let's see. What do I want to talk about this week while I am trying not to die here in Team Fortress 2? Well, earlier this week I saw an article. I didn't read the article because it was obviously just clickbait. But there was an article on, I think, Yahoo News or whatever, asking the question, which one is stronger, Wolverine's claws or Captain America's shield? And yeah, that kind of question is the kind of question that gets asked a lot. And I don't just mean Wolverine's claws versus Captain America's shields. I mean that kind of question in general gets asked a lot in the comic book community, in the video games community, movies, TV. You'll always find someone comparing one to another, one thing to another, whether it's Captain America's shield versus Wolverine's claws, or Batman versus Superman, which is something we've actually gotten a movie coming out in the next few weeks. Is it the next few weeks or next few months? I'm not really sure. I haven't really been keeping up with it. But yeah, this whole question of which one is stronger is a bit vague, so it's a bit odd. That was the actual title of the article, which one is stronger, and there's this whole thing about it that I'll get into later, but I'll come back to that later. But yeah, this is the kind of question that gets asked a lot. It's especially in the comic book community, especially cross-company like DC versus Marvel stuff, where the versus thing wouldn't really happen in the context of the comics very often. I mean, when you have something like Wolverine versus Captain America, that could actually happen, and probably has happened a number of times over the past few decades that Captain America and Wolverine have been around. So that question has probably already been answered a dozen times over. But when you got stuff like Superman versus the Hulk, that's something that does not happen very often. It has happened in some previous cross company comic books that have happened, and most notably in, what was it called? I don't remember it was this entire series that came out in the 90s where it was a huge crossover event where I keep saying Captain America. No, it was Superman and the Hulk, and Superman beat the Hulk. But there was still arguments in the comic book community over which one's stronger, which one could beat the other one. And even though it's been shown a couple times over the past 50 years, it still gets argued about. It's always this question of that people want to ask, that people really either don't know that it's already happened in the comic books, in movies, and whatever, or they just want to theorize because they're super fanboys of one character or one franchise, and they just want their side to win very, very much. I mean, this was something that was going on like in the 80s when you had big movies like RoboCop and The Terminator, And people would theorize about who would win, the RoboCop versus Terminator kind of thing. Or you had Aliens versus Predator, and there was always this argument about which one was better, which one would win in a fight, and then we actually got a friggin' Aliens versus Predator movie, and it turned out to be complete crap. So there was this whole thing like that. And that's the kind of thing. I mean, that's what we're getting right now, a Batman versus Superman movie. It's literally the title of the movie, Batman versus Superman. And yeah, in all honesty, within the context of the comic books, they're not really all that much enemies. They're kind of friends, they're buddies, they're pals. So I'm not really sure how they're going to do it in the movie. I don't know if they're just meeting for the first time, or they're longtime friends and something's gone wrong and they're all fighting and angry and blah 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 blah. But yeah, in the context of the comic books, they're usually portrayed as fairly good friends. I mean, they have ideological differences, but still, they're, well, friendly to each other, I guess. So yeah, but yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's always this weird, who would win in a fight kind of thing. Uh, who's stronger, who's faster, who's better at whatever. But when it really comes down to, at least when in the context of comic books and comic book characters like that, it usually just comes down to whose comic book is this story appearing in. Because in the context of like a Batman versus Superman thing, if it's a Batman comic book, Batman's going to win. If it's a Superman comic book, Superman's going to win. If it's a Captain America versus Wolverine thing, if it's a Wolverine comic, he's going to win. If it's a Captain America comic, Captain's going to win. And it comes down to plot armor. And that's basically all it is, plot armor. It's who's writing it. It is who is doing it, what the writer's doing, what they want to do with the story, and who their favorite character is. And they're going to be the one who wins. And that's basically what it boils down to with this kind of thing. Which is why actually getting one of these versus stories that people really want to see is not really very satisfying. Because people will argue about this kind of thing for hours on end about who would win, Superman versus Batman, or the Hulk versus Superman, or Captain America versus Wolverine. And people argue about this on forums endlessly, because one side will be really fanboy against one character, one side will be fanboy against the other character, and they'll just argue and argue about it because, hey, this guy has this power and this ability and this blah 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 blah. And yeah, it's hilarious to watch sometimes, because they get really heated and very passionate about which side they want to be on. But when you actually get it to happen, it is never as satisfying or as definitive as you want it to be. Because when you have one of those two characters, like a Superman versus Batman scenario, it usually comes down to they get into a knockdown, drag-out fight, and then something happens, and they have to come together and put aside their differences, and oh no, bigger enemies coming around, it's Lex Luthor or alien invasion or whatever the hell, and by the end of the story, they're friends and everything's back to normal, and the status quo has been restored. So it's never really all that satisfying. Or you end up with something like Aliens versus Predator, which was just, yeah. Don't get me wrong, it was an okay movie, but as a crossover between two massive franchises, yeah, it was just disappointing. It was very disappointing. But yeah, just like the whole Freddy Krueger Jason movie that came out like years ago was a huge disappointment. Sad disappointment after so many decades of people theorizing about it. So yeah, I am not really hopeful about the whole Batman versus Superman movie, but it is potentially good. It all depends on how it's written, who is the director's favorite, the writer's favorite, and what direction and what the plot actually is. So it might be good, it might not be, but there's high hopes for it. But yeah, getting back to the whole thing that started this, the whole article idea that started the argument between which one's stronger and Wolverine's claws or Captain America's shield. Okay, disclaimer right here, I'm about to go in very weird detail about the actual in comic book, in universe story portions about what actually this stuff is. If you don't care about this stuff, or if you want to laugh at me for being kind of a nerdy comic book guy, go for it. I don't really care. But yeah, the whole point of this argument being weird is, what is the context of the argument itself? Which one is stronger, Wolverine's claws or Captain America's shield? In what context does that question even come up? I mean, is it strength as in which one's the better weapon? Then Wolverine's claws is the better weapon and Captain America's shield is not. Is it which one could defeat the other one? Then that's not really claws versus shield, it's which character could defeat the other character. In which case, they're both fairly good with martial arts. They're both fairly durable and strong. They have about equal strength, I think. Captain America might have slight edge on that department since he is a super soldier, but Wolverine has been around for a very long time, for over a century, I think, and he has had intense training with martial artists and stuff, so they are on equal footing when it comes to physical combat. But that's not the question that was asked. The question that was asked was which one is stronger, Wolverine's claws or Captain America's shield? And the blunt answer is Captain America's shield is stronger than Wolverine's claws. That's not a fanboy answer, that's a technical answer. Because Wolverine's claws, depending on which version of his claws you're talking about, because there was a point in history where Wolverine lost the adamantium on his claws and they were just bone claws. If you're talking about that, there's no contest. Captain America's shield is stronger than bone. But if you're talking about Wolverine's adamantium claws, yes, the shield is still stronger. Physically stronger because Wolverine's claws are made of adamantium. And within the context of the Marvel Universe, adamantium is a nearly indestructible material. It is a nearly indestructible metal that coats his entire skeleton, that coats his claws, and it is virtually indestructible. Bear that in mind. But within the context of the Marvel comic books, I'm not really sure about the Marvel movies, if that's what they're going for. I'm not sure what Captain America's shield is made of there. I'm not sure what the full composition of it is. But in the context of the comic books, Captain America's shield is made partly of adamantium. It is an alloy of adamantium, vibranium, as well as other materials that I don't think have ever really been fully disclosed because writers don't really know, they don't really care. But yeah, Captain America's shield is made of adamantium, as well as vibranium, which absorbs kinetic energy, which is this whole other thing that I have to go into in very great detail just to explain it. But the very idea of it, vibranium can absorb kinetic energy like a physical blow. It'll absorb it and absorb some of the shock, which is why Captain America can take a direct hit from the Hulk and not be just obliterated by it. Or something like in the movies where he took a hit from Thor's hammer and wasn't just flattened into the fucking ground. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that the shield can do. It can absorb kinetic energy. It also has some, if not all, of the durability that adamantium has, because it's partly alloyed with adamantium, as well as whatever other materials is used to create it. So which one is stronger in the sense of could Wolverine's claws cut Captain America's shield? Probably not. Because they're both made of a virtually indestructible material, so yeah, you would take a very huge amount of force to really cut through something as dense, as durable, as strong as adamantium, which is why Wolverine's claws can cut through virtually anything except adamantium. I mean, it's also been shown that he has trouble cutting through adamantium, which is why some of the other characters that have adamantium armor or adamantium parts or whatever can really fight against him and survive because his claws can't cut through it. So yeah, If that's the argument that was being presented, I don't know. I did not even bother reading the article. I just read the title, and I knew what it was going to be. It was just going to be detailed crap about what's stronger, what's weaker, what's ever. I don't even know. I don't care, because this argument has been done to death over the years, and here I am rehashing the same argument again during this video. Holy crap. So, yeah, I think that's about enough about me arguing about this crap. So anyway, I think I'm going to cut it here and say thanks for watching. This has been Bobson. This has been more Team Fortress 2. And until next time, I will see you later for more whatever I have to be talking about. Damn it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.